Hello and welcome to another video where today I'm going to show you how to do rich presence in Discord. This is a really simple way to get custom statuses and you can write it all in Python. Similar to when you join a game, it has a logo, it has timestamps, it has information, but we're going to do the same and it's really easy to do, much easier than anyone would expect. So let's get started. First thing you're going to have to do is open up your code editor and a terminal. I'm using Visual Studio's Code where everything's built in, but you could always just use CMD or CMD command prompt if you needed to install stuff, and PyCharm or whatever you use to run code. I'm just going to do it all in one with Visual Studios. So there is a package we're going to have to install, which is Pip Install Pi Presence. This link will be, or this thing you can copy and paste from the description and on the GitHub page for this project, and all of the code for all of the examples we do will be there as well. So this will take a couple of minutes. I just installed this, so help speed up the time. The next thing we're going to need to do is open up our Discord developer portal, which is here. You're going to have to make a new app, which is just as easy as googling Discord developer portal. There it is. And just click on the first link, or applications. I've got loads of applications, so it's a bit of a mess, so just open up the application we've made. Next you can select your app icon and give it a name. The name will be where your game name will be. I call this pypresence tutorial. You can name it whatever you want. Now we can leave this page for now. There will be the application ID that we will need in a bit. Next you can go onto pypresence and visual arts. I've already got this set up here, where I've got myself a cover image and I've got myself some other images, some logos and other bits. Just press add images and add any images you may want to use. I don't know what the image limit is. I haven't run into a problem so far, but I only ever use like 5. So next we're going to open up our code editor and we're going to get started. So first thing we're going to do is from, and then Pi Presence, we're going to import presence. There we go. Make sure this one has a capital. There we go. So that's nice and easy. Then we're going to go down a couple of lines. Then we're going to do client underscore ID, and then it's equal to, and then this is just a variable where we're going to be storing our client ID. We're going to do then RPC is equal to capital P presence, and then we're going to open up our brackets and do client ID. There we go. So now let's head back over to our Discord developer portal, and on our front page we had this application ID. That is what we're going to copy. Do not use mine. I am going to delete this app after the tutorial. Use your own one and try not to give it to people. And then we're going to go back into our code editor and paste that in there. There we go. So now we are going to do the next line, which is rpc.connect, and then opening and close brackets. So now let's quickly explain what this does. First line just imports presence from the package. We've done this 1,000 times before with Discord bots and other tutorials. The next one is gets our client ID. So this is what's going to be needed to connect to the application. Now we're setting up the RPC, which is basically initializing the client class. Just setting that up, and RPC connects starts the handshake with Discord, making a connection. So now this is ready to do something, but nothing quite yet. So now let's get started. We're going to do rpc.update. There we go. We're going to go open brackets, status, status, however you want to say it, and equals to, and then let's go write something quickly. Let's say learning to code. There we go. And then we're going to do a comma, and then we're going to do details equals open up speech marks, and we're going to write with Michael. There we go, and we're going to save that. Now, if we run this, it wouldn't. We couldn't actually run this because it's a Python application, so we would run it and it would close because it has finished. As you can see, it did there. So we're going to need to fix that now. And, well, sometimes the easiest fix is the best fix. So what we're going to do is we're going to then underneath do a new line, or go down 2, and we're just going to do while true, and then we're going to put a colon down. So we've got our loop statement, and I have somehow messed that up, which is typical me. Just there we go. Missed a space at the start, and now we're just going to do a new line, and we're just going to do time dot sleep, and we're going to sleep, and let's have that for 15 seconds. And because this got an error, what we're going to do is go back up to the top and import time. There we go. So we've got that all set up nicely and fixed. So let's run this. Give that a second to load. And it started. So now if we open up our Discord, you can see we've got our activity tab, and we've got playing presence tutorial with Michael learning to code. So they've got the wrong way round. So it's easy, we can just swap them around. Which is details learning to code and status with Michael. There we go. Save that. We can rerun that. And as you can see, if we go back to our activities, it works, it's not too bad, and that's the start. And you can see our app name that we made earlier is there, and you can't change that directly in the code itself. You have to change that on the Discord site. So that's a simple example to just get us off. But let's make something more interesting. All of the examples I do will be in the description on the GitHub links, just to make it easier to follow along. Now let's do randomly changing a quote just in the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this rpc.update line, and in our imports at the top we're just going to go import random. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make a list of our random quotes. So what we're going to do is quotes is equal to, and then we're going to put some square brackets, open up our quotes, and let's say like and sub, and then you put a comma, and then you put in your next quote. I'm going to be back in a second and just get myself a list of them all typed in and done. Okay, so I wrote a quick list before the video, so just pasted that in. So now in our while loop, we're just going to remove this time. We're going to do rpc.update, and we're going to put a new, open our brackets, and we're going to do details equals, open our speech marks, and let's write quotes, or quotes, colon, and then we're going to close our speech marks, put a comma, and we're going to do state, status equals to, open up our speech marks. Nope, we don't need speech marks. Speech marks are only for string, and what we're going to want to do is grab a random entry from our quote. So we're going to do status equals to, and then we're going to do random dot choice, and now we're going to open up another set of brackets, and we're going to do quotes. So we're going to save this, and we're going to run this, or rerun this. There we go. So now our code is rerunning. We can open up our Discord, and if we go to our activities, you can see that it's changing rapidly, far too fast for anyone to read. So let's change this. A nice time is every 60 seconds, so we're going to do at the bottom time.sleep, open up our brackets and type 60 in, and then we'll rerun it. You on Visual Studio Code, you can either press the loop or press Control Shift F5. I like the shortcut, it's quicker, you get used to it. And as you can see, there we go, it's loading. But just so we can make sure we can actually see something happens in the time we're recording, because let's save time, let's lower that to 5 seconds. We'll open up Discord, and now if we give that a second, it should change. Just like that. See, it's changing and it is working great. This is a nice little example. I saw one person once have a list of every line of Rick Astley Never Going to Give You Up in their quote section, and just changed it so their status was always a different line of the song. It was amusing. So let's do something more interesting. This example is again public for you to copy and paste if you would like to. But there's many more things you can do with rich presence. One of them is you can have images, large text, and you can have buttons, which are nice and fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the quotes, or I am, because I have got these all saved as files already, and everything in our while loop. So in our while loop, we're going to do rpc.update again. You can kind of see that this will happen for every time you want to update it. And RPC is we're calling the RPC class we made earlier and forcing it to update, which is what the dot update does. So let's start with our logo. The logo is large image is equal to, open up some speech marks, and then if we head back to here, we've got these images that we uploaded with their names when you pressed add image. So let's copy the name of the logo we want. Let's do logo 1, and we're going to put logo 1 inside the speech marks. And then let's do large text, and we're going to have that equal to watching Michael Media Group. Great channel, would recommend you take a look. And as you can see, there's an error. And this because you need to put your comma between every new line. And now if we refresh this, you can see that it is got our logo, and if we hover above the image it says watching Michael Media Group. We've done something which is seen as not good practice here, which is we're forcing this to update less than every second, which can take a lot of strain on your internet, and you may have a timeout. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put our sleep in of 60 seconds. There we go. So now have it in line with the brackets, and this means it just won't keep refreshing, and it will only refresh once every 60 seconds. If you're not planning to change this at all, you can set the time to be a lot longer. Okay, so we're going to put our comma in, and now we're going to type our new one. We'll just do details. I'm just trying to show you every element which you might feasibly want to do. We've done details before, so let's again do watching Michael Media Group, so you can see it in the text, and you can see it when you hover over the image. So when you play a game, this is all running somewhere when you open up the game, which is how Discord tracks statuses. It's really interesting because it's incredibly simple, but it's enjoyable. Okay, and now let's do a status. Remember to like. And now something we haven't done yet, but it was quite good, is when you see people on games, it says how long they've been playing it. And you can do this. You can do it with this as well. So we'll do a comma to our new line, and we're going to do start is equal to int, open up a bracket, or brackets, time, dot time, and then open and close another set of brackets. So if we save this, and now we run this, and head over to our Discord, give that a second, there you go, and we go to activity, you can see how long that this has been running for. So this has been running for 10 seconds and it's elapsed. So it's a really nice little way of just starting a timer. You could set this to be a different time, it doesn't have to be our current time, and it will just count from then. But this is just a simple way of, I suppose it is just a simple way of counting how long we've got this code open, so let's leave that running. And now we're going to go down to a new line, put our comma in, and now this is the slightly harder bit. Buttons. So we're going to do buttons equal to open square brackets and open curly brackets. And now I'm going to open up speech marks. You have to type in label, the same way I have, without any capitals. Close your speech marks. Then you want to put a colon, and then open up your speech marks and put the text that you want your button to be. So take a look at the channel. There we go. And we then want to close our speech marks. Now we want to put a comma in, and we're going to reopen up our speech marks. Then we're going to type in URL. Again, no capitals. This does matter. And then put another colon there, and then open up our speech marks and put the link we want this to take to. So I have made sure I've got my link beforehand, and we're going to save that. There we go, and you can see here I accidentally put two colons, so we'll remove one so it's only one. So you can see our label element is equal to or assigned to that piece of text, and then our URL gets assigned a link. So we can run this. There we go. We can then open up our Discord and we've got a button. These buttons do work, but you can't use your own account on your computer. So if you have a phone on you, you can grab your phone and check it there, because strangely you can check your own buttons on your phone, or you can log into or get a friend to try and use your account. I'm not sure why it doesn't work on the desktop app. It's just a really strange and slightly annoying bug. But however, it does work on the web app as well. So on the internet and on your phone it works, just not the desktop app. Other people can see your profile, just you can't see your own. Highly annoying. Anyway, we've got one button, we can have a second one. So if we put a comma, and then first we have to we close our curly brackets, and then after our curly brackets, between the curly bracket and the square bracket, we put a comma. And now we can retype the exact same thing, but we can. So I'm just going to copy and pasted this from previously, but I've actually got another button. So there we go, we'll paste that one in. And as you can see, it's open a new curly brackets label, and then the text, URL, then the link. We will save this, we will rerun this, and we'll give that a second, just activity, so you can have two buttons, and that's the limit. You can't do any more, which is a shame, but it kind of makes sense. So there are other elements you can include, which I'm going to show you now, but I'm not going to add them all into this example. Okay, so if you open up the official documentation, the link will be in the description. You can see there is loads of information you can include. You can include any of this information, and it will again update. So let's do one that I haven't tried before. Let's do... Well, we can do end, so that will be when the time ends, but I'm not quite sure that format. You'd have to check. So no, it would just be a standard time. So we could have our end time be the same as our start time, which would be strange, but would look quite interesting. Let's do an easy one. Let's do party size. So we're just going to do party size, and then it's how many players out of how many players. So there is one player out of a possible 5 players. Or at least that's how the documentation here shows it. So it will be in a list form. So this will be equal to a square bracket of 2 out of, let's say we've got a maximum amount of 10 players. And we then put in our comma, we can rerun this. And we can open up our Discord, go to our status, and you can see, remember to like, 2 out of 10. So that's what happens when you're doing like group games. You find that automatically updates, which is interesting. So they're all of the examples I have thought of ahead, and this is a plenty long enough video. However, I am going to throw one more example in. That's the Pi Presence Discord Pi Presence example log on their documentation has, which I just thought was an interesting thing to show. Yeah, so this is an unusual example of example of using statuses, but I think it's quite clever. Which is you have to install another library, So we're going to install that. I've already installed it, and we're going to run it. Give this a second. Oh yes, the client ID is not valid because it's the one from their examples. You have to make sure you use your own client ID from your own application. There we go, now we will run that. And as you can see, it's printed out because you can actually print your update statuses into your command prompt. I think it gets messy, but it works. And if you go to our activities, you can see it shows your RAM and your CPU usage in percentage. I think this is a really clever example. I'm not sure what the use of it is, but it's clever. And it will update every 15 seconds, so it's still readable, but it's accurate. So thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing and consider liking. Thank you for watching, goodbye, bye.